Hey guys, let's make some cheesy crisps. I'm craving tacos. I don't have any shells and I need something quick. I'm going to show you a couple ways of making these and ways you can use them. I use these for snacking. You can turn these into crackers, which is a keto option. And I will make brown style ones that are like a tostada that I tend to use for tacos. And they make a great base if you don't want to use a bun for the made right sandwiches. I'll link that video below. Let's get started. So you're going to need cheese. You're going to need cheese. Any kind will do. I'm preheating my oven to 375 degrees. It's going to take 15-20 minutes roughly, maybe 25, depending on the kind of cheese you're using. You're going to need cookie sheets, or in my case, I don't have all of my cookie sheets. They're back at my parents' house and in storage. So I'm going to use the pans that I have. I got a pizza pan here, got this, got one cookie sheet. I'm going to be making a bunch of these because I snack on this stuff through the week. And then you are going to need parchment paper. Now really all you need is the cheese, but I'm going to show you how you can do cheesy crisps a couple of ways. You can turn them into a cracker. I really like this everything bagel seasoning. So I'm going to be putting that on some of the cheesy crisps. And then I saw this one on the internet, and I'm a pickle fanatic. Pickles, everything bagel seasoning, yummy. So let's get started. Let's just make the basic ones right now. You can shape these into fancy sizes. I'm only going to do that with the bigger ones that I'm making. What I actually like to do is put the parchment down and just spread it into one large sheet, and then I just break it up. But if you're making crackers, you can make them yay big or make them so. The ones that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be doing just a sheet full of these, and I'm going to put the round ones on this cookie sheet. I'm sorry about the mess. This kitchen's kind of small. I've had people ask me what's up with the floor. It's not dirty. It is very old though. It's really scuffed and it's stained. It's a wooden floor that's been painted, and the counters here have been painted. So that's what's up with that. This house is close to 100 years old. The people that owned it before, they had an interesting fashion sense with their house. It's not what I would have picked, but it's a place to live. I'm not complaining, and just had some questions about that, so back to the cheesy crisps. So I'm going to put parchment down on here, and you don't want to use wax paper. It'll melt into the cheese. That's nasty. The parchment will keep the cheese from sticking. Normally I just like cookie sheets, but you gotta make do with what you got sometimes. I made this a little too long, so we'll put that in here. It'll still work. You just gotta keep an eye on how to keep an eye on everything. That's okay, this is still a little long, but it'll do. I'm gonna just get this one done. really love this copper cookie sheet, and almost nothing sticks to it. Maybe I will take this one right here. There we go. That one's shorter. I've done these in the waffle. I have a mini waffle iron. I've done these cheesy crisps in too. It works. Everybody on the internet's got a cheesy crisp video, and I don't do what everybody else does, but you know, there's some ways you can use these. If you don't have taco shells, they make an amazing tostada shell. I think I like them better than a regular tostada. So I like to mix cheeses. I love sharp cheddar, so I'm going to use that. And I like Colby Jack. I don't have mozzarella. If you use mozzarella, that can take a little bit longer to crisp up. It tends to make a more flexible shell, which is fine if you're doing tacos or something. And then I've got some cojita cheese. It's like Mexican Parmesan. I really like to throw Parmesan in the mix. It toasts up really nicely and gives it a really sharp flavor. So we just use what we've got. And I make about 2 sheets of these every time I make them. I don't always do the shells that I'm going to be making today. I usually just do a sheet. Now, some people are fancy. That's okay. I'm kind of just rolling with it here. This was the one I'm going to put I'm just going to lay the cheese out in some funny shapes and put the pickles down on this one. I'm not going to do a lot. I'm just going to kind of show you. You know, you can make a little cracker. And these will spread out. I'm just kind of putting it down to show you. I'm the only one eating these, so it is what it is. Make these ones nice and round because these are going to turn into the tostada shells. I'm going to only do about 4 to 6 of these. Just doing a little bit here. Kind of didn't think about how I was going to do these. I just put them down. Preoccupied brain. That's okay though. We live, we learn, right? Do our best with what we've got. I just came from ketamine today. Spravato works great, but I am still kind of out of it. Do a little bit of that. This cojita cheese I got from the Mexican market near my house and made some really good Mexican street corn the other day. Probably going to end up making, after this video, another sheet of these. And I just like the flavor the Colby Jack gives to the cheddar and the Parmesan. And it gives it a little bit of softness so it's not too hard. Normally I would use gloves, but I'm only eating these. we're just kind of playing with the cheese today. We're just doing it and spread this out on the bottom of the pan a little bit more, thin it out. And this will, you want this not super thin, but you don't want it thick either. You just want the cheese, you want it about the thickness of a tortilla chip. You know, this is a really good way not only to do keto, but you know, if you're gluten free, if you just like cheese, you just want something quick. Let's do some of the bagel seasoning on part of that. I'm not going to do it over everything. Actually, maybe I will. I'm just rolling with it here. I don't do this bagel seasoning all the time. I just feel like it today. I have a couple friends that like pickles a lot. And that is where I came up with trying this. And then I saw other people doing it on the internet after I tried it. And I tweaked it. You know, I actually think I should put some cheese on top. I'm only going to do 2 of these with the pickles. Another thing you can do is you can take some cheese slices really thin and put a little hole in them and make them really small and do your own Cheez-Its. I need to try that. I've never done it. Go ahead and get this stuff in the oven. I'll be back. I'm going to turn this back on when it's time to check on these. You want to just watch it. You'll see the cheese melt, and then about halfway through, you want to just make sure that it's not burning and either turn the oven up or down, depending on the type of cheese you're using and your oven. It can fluctuate. You can go 350 and up to 425. The longer and slower you cook these, the better. If it's below 375, it doesn't tend to crisp as much, I've noticed. So I go right in the middle and just go on the slower side with the cheesy crisps. When I pull it out, I also will take a paper towel and blot the excess oil off. That's going to help it crisp up better. I'm going to clean up. I'll see you guys later. So an update on the cheesy crisp. The others are kind of just melted, but this one is a little over halfway done. So I pulled it out and it's smaller. So they start to brown a little around the edges and crisp up. And these I'll probably pull out sooner than the others. But you can tell they're kind of soft, so we want to put them in a little bit longer. And during this stage, the oil comes up. Not everybody blocks them, but I find it helpful to getting them to crisp up. And you don't want, the whole thing will start to turn about this color once it's closer to being done. The center will crisp like that. I'm going to put just a little bit more of this seasoning on top. I think these are only going to go in for a few more minutes. But, yeah. You don't want the edges to get too much darker than this. I like to get them just slightly darker, but any more, they start to burn. And these are the tostada ones. You can see, depending on the size, some of them are done more than others. I didn't space them apart as well, but that's okay. Once we pull these out, we can just kind of just cut them. Actually cut them a little bit now. Don't need to, but we'll make it just a little easier to separate them. There we go. They're not perfect, but they're about the size of what I want for my taco. The Maid-Rites, I only eat half of one, so just one of these with the filling on top, some pickles and onion and a little more cheese. It works. Works really good. And you can see with these, it's more like just melted cheese right now because it's one large sheet. The edges are starting to crisp a little bit like a quesadilla, but they're not quite there. This one will probably take the longest. So these ones are done. I purposely did them this way so I can show you. They can get this dark if you're using Parmesan or cheddar cheese, or they can stay on the lighter side. They're not burnt. I just let them get a little darker in this case because I like them that way. And right now they're really hot. It's during the cooling process that they're going to crisp up. So I'm going to let them do that. I'll be back. The others have a few minutes left. It's only been about 15 minutes. The tostada ones are going to be done pretty soon, but let's try these. You know, they taste like a Cheez-It. And then you want to let, these are still a little bit pliable. The pickle ones usually are. But that's because, you know, there's a pickle in them, and, you know, let them cool at least 5 to 10 minutes. But let's try one of these. That is so good. You know, you got the pickle, you got the cheese, it's crunchy, you got the bagel seasoning. Goes good on a sandwich or by itself. Well, the cheesy crisps are done for the tostada ones. They're a little darker. This is where the darker cheese was. And then, you know, they just kind of crisp up and they're flat. I'm going to go get my taco meat. I'm not going to put anything on top. I just needed to pull something out of the freezer for lunch really quick. Don't have tomatoes or anything to make it pretty, so I'm going to show you what that looks like, and then I'm going to check the sheet ones. So yeah, these cheesy crisps are done, and they're a little soft in the middle, but they'll crisp up. You don't have to let them get quite that dark. I just like them a little bit crispier. They're not burnt. They taste just like a Cheez-It. But, you know, they'll go anywhere from this lighter color to the darker, just depending on the kind of cheese you use, too. And if you leave them lighter, they're not going to be as crispy, but that's okay. I'll be back. So, hey guys, I don't have any tomatoes or toppings on top of this, but I've just got some taco meat on this shell. That's all I'm going to do is eat that and some Mexican street corn that I made the other day. Yeah, I just had to think of something quick, and that's just one way you can use your shells. They make great tostadas if you've got some refried beans to put on here. You can do your lettuce, your tomatoes, and, you know, chicken. Chicken is good, and there's a lot of ways. I do the Maid-Rites. Anyways, I need to go eat. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I know it's a little weird, but it's kind of fun. Take care, guys. So guys, I just realized after filming the video a couple of things. A, I didn't show you how I store them. I just break them up like this and put them in a Ziploc bag. And B, when I filmed, I didn't realize that the view was obstructed by a bag of cheese. So you didn't see the process of me actually showing you the sizes I was making them and what it looked like. So this is the thickness. So it's about a little bit thicker than a chip. And again, it's darker, but that's how I like it. And so, yeah. Yeah, just like a Cheez-It. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Take care.